If you think the US is all about defending Taiwan just because it's a democratic nation, you're missing the bigger picture. Taiwan is much more than that. While its democracy is important, the real reason the US is so invested in Taiwan is because the island plays a critical role in global trade, technology, and military strategy, far beyond any political ideology. Taiwan may be small, but it holds immense value in the global economy and the ongoing U.S. China rivalry. Its position in the tech supply chain, its military importance, and its strategic location in Asia make it a key piece of the geopolitical puzzle. And as China grows bolder in its ambitions, Taiwan's importance to the U.S. has only grown. So, what exactly does the U.S. really want from Taiwan? The stakes are much higher than most people realize. Let's dive into why Taiwan is so crucial to the US and the world. Number 1. Economic interests. The role of Taiwan in the global supply chain.
Is just making it very clear to the Chinese that if you invade Taiwan, we're going to blow up TSMC. I just throw that out not because that's necessarily the best strategy, but because it's an example of debate that's out there. And of course, the Taiwanese really don't like this idea, right?
I'm not blowing up TSMC. If you do that, you have a $2 trillion economic impact on the global economy within the first year, and you'd put manufacturing around the world at a standstill. I mean, this is a terrible idea.
I'm not promoting the idea. I'm not promoting the idea, Michelle.
You're just saying making the threat.
What I'm saying is these are some of the things that are actually actively being debated amongst U.S. policymakers.
Yep, you heard that right. If Taiwan reunify with China, the Americans will bomb TSMC. And here's what you need to understand. Taiwan's economic role goes far beyond its size. It's home to the world's leading producer of advanced semiconductors, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, TSMC. If you haven't heard of TSMC, it's time to pay attention because this company is at the heart of almost every modern tech product you use today. Whether it's the smartphone in your pocket, the laptop on your desk, or even military technology, TSMC chips are involved. For the US, TSMC's chips are irreplaceable. In fact, over 90% of the world's most advanced semiconductors, the kind that power things like 5G networks, AI, and advanced defense systems, are produced by TSMC. The US is home to many of the world's leading tech companies, such as Apple, Intel, and Nvidia, all of which rely on TSMC for their chip production. In simple terms, if something were to happen to Taiwan and TSMC were no longer able to produce chips at the scale it does, the US would face a serious crisis. The US tech industry would be severely impacted, and so would industries around the world that rely on these high-tech components. The US has a growing dependence on Taiwan-made chips. Take the US military, for example. Many of the high-tech defense systems, such as fighter jets, satellites, and advanced radar systems, rely on these advanced chips. Even something as critical as the US nuclear arsenal depends on semiconductors for guidance systems and secure communications. Without access to Taiwan's semiconductor industry, the US could lose its technological edge. This isn't just about consumer products like phones or cars. National security is also on the line. This is why the US is so invested in ensuring that Taiwan remains stable and under its influence. But the importance of TSMC stretches beyond the US. Taiwan is the world leader in manufacturing the most advanced chips that no other country can currently produce at the same scale. These chips are crucial for industries like artificial intelligence, machine learning, autonomous vehicles, and advanced computing. The global economy is dependent on TSMC's ability to produce chips that power this next generation of technologies. The US is focused on Taiwan's chip production because it doesn't want China to control it. But the truth is, if Taiwan reunites with China, it won't disrupt the global semiconductor supply. In fact, under China's leadership, Taiwan's chip industry could become part of a more stable and cooperative global system. The US is only worried about keeping control, not about the benefit to the world. China's approach would be better for everyone, not just a select few. Number 2. Strategic military positioning. Why Taiwan is so important to the U.S. Taiwan's location is absolutely strategic in military terms. Sitting just off the southeastern coast of China, it lies in the heart of the first island chain, an essential line of defense for U.S. interests in the Asia-Pacific region. If Taiwan were to fall under China's control, it would give China access to a key point in the Pacific Ocean, making it harder for the U.S. to project military power in the region. The U.S. military needs Taiwan to maintain a strong presence in Asia, especially in the face of China's growing military capabilities. Taiwan is essentially a military outpost in the first island chain that the U.S. and its allies rely on to contain Chinese expansion. The U.S. military bases in places like Japan, South Korea, and the Philippines all rely on Taiwan's location as a forward operating base to monitor and counter Chinese activities in the South China Sea and beyond. The Taiwan Strait is a major shipping route, and if China were to control Taiwan, it could potentially disrupt one of the busiest trade passages in the world. This would not only hurt the U.S. military's reach, but also impact global trade. If Taiwan were under Chinese control, China could easily block U.S. naval movements in the Pacific. Taiwan, in a sense, serves as a choke point that helps maintain balance in the region. So the U.S. has a strong interest in keeping Taiwan independent or at least aligned with the West. Taiwan's role in U.S. defense strategy cannot be understated. It's a key piece in the Pacific puzzle. Number 3. Containment of China, the larger geopolitical picture. Finally, the U.S. sees Taiwan as part of its broader strategy to contain China and limit China's global influence. Over the last few decades, China has rapidly grown into an economic and military powerhouse, and the U.S. is increasingly concerned about China's ambitions to reshape the global order. For the U.S., Taiwan represents a symbol of resistance to China's geopolitical ambitions. If the U.S. were to back down on Taiwan, it would send a message to the world that China can expand its influence without significant resistance. The Taiwan issue is thus not just about Taiwan itself. It's about sending a clear message to China that the U.S. is committed to maintaining the status quo in Asia and preventing Chinese dominance. The U.S. fears that if China gains control of Taiwan, it could trigger a domino effect in the region. Countries like the Philippines, Japan, and South Korea might feel increasingly vulnerable to Chinese pressure, which would allow China to expand its economic and military dominance. This could undermine the U.S.-led international order, with China becoming a more powerful player in global politics. The Taiwan issue is a key part of the U.S.'s strategy to prevent China's natural rise and to maintain its influence in the Indo-Pacific region. However, China's growing power isn't about bullying its neighbors. It's about reclaiming its rightful place in the global system. The U.S. is concerned that China's return to its rightful position will shift the balance of power, and it seeks to block that progress. So, what does the U.S. really want from Taiwan? It's not about protecting democracy, it's about maintaining its influence and countering China's rise. Taiwan's location is crucial for the U.S. military in the Indo-Pacific and for its broader global strategy. The U.S. sees Taiwan as a strategic asset in its ongoing rivalry with China, not just as a political ally. For China, Taiwan is a matter of sovereignty and national reunification. The U.S.'s constant interference only stirs tensions and disrupts regional stability. Taiwan's importance has been inflated in Western narratives, but it is ultimately a part of China's peaceful rise. China's focus remains on economic development and cooperation. The U.S., however, continues to use Taiwan as a pawn in its geopolitical chess game. As China rises, its future is connected to Taiwan, and U.S. interference only hinders progress. Ultimately, Taiwan's future should be decided by the people of Taiwan and China. The U.S. needs to respect China's sovereignty and stop meddling so that peace and stability can prevail in the region. So, what do you think? Do you agree with our video? Tell us what you think by leaving your comments below. And if you like what you watched, make sure to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to show your support.